I assume that you did not receive anything about a public comment, Jeanette. Is that
Nope.
correct? Okay. Before we get to the minutes, I did want to say that at our last meeting, Arnie had suggested that we have a new way to handle our roll call votes to make it more efficient. So what we will be doing is I will be asking for dissenting or abstaining votes. Okay, that's the way we'll handle it. And for clarification too, Viviana, you, if we have a complicated motion or something, you can just read it to everyone, okay? And then I will ask for dissenting votes to the motion or any abstaining votes, okay? So having said all of that, next item of business is to look at the minutes of November 7th, and we'll give you a few extra minutes, and then I will need a motion to accept them unless there are corrections. And it was an important meeting because we voted on our capital budget. Okay. So everybody found them and had a chance to look at them, and
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
okay, and a second.
I can
I'll
second.
it. Okay. According to my calculations, Jen and Lauren will not be able to vote because you were not present at that meeting. Okay.
Right.
So,
Yes, thank you.
having said that, are there any dissenting votes to accepting the minutes? Okay. And the abstaining would be Lauren. Okay.
Let me get this clear, Viviana. Did you get Janet as a second for your motion?
No, I got Kathy.
Oh, you got Kathy. Okay. Everybody wants to second.
Janet can have the next one.
Okay.
And we have one abstention, right? Okay.
Yes.
And no dissenting votes. Okay.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is additions to the agenda. Are there any additions? Okay. Youth Services Report. Nancy?
Hi, how are you, everyone? Nice to see you all. So we have been busy, and now that Jamie Joy is here, we're doing some training and getting her geared up, and lots of ideas, so we're just trying to work through them. The Home Alone class we did for 9 through 12-year-olds, we did two classes. They were after school on November 3rd and 10th. We had 8 students join us for that. Lots of give and take, lots of class discussion. Kids are really interested and they really have a lot to say. And Officer Vinnie Lynch came to the second class and he talked about emergencies. So got some, just some nice comments on the student survey, so I was glad to see that. We did a paint party, an after-school paint party for the middle schoolers. At Amity Middle School, we had 10 kids. We actually had 13 signed up, but there was a little illness going around there, I think, after their musical. So 10 kids showed up, and this was nice because this time they were chattier and just real interested in what everybody else was doing, and they were kind of encouraging each other. And if somebody said, oh, that doesn't look nice, somebody else would say, oh, let them do what they want to do. So I thought it was really nice, and lots of individualism, and to see 10 kids do 10 different paintings, it was really sweet. So I got a picture of them at the end, and hopefully one of those pictures will go into the newsletter or into the newspaper this week, because it was just really nice. So we are planning on probably doing another one, a winter scene the next time. So January or February we'll plan on that. So this Friday we have a holiday cookie decorating and craft party. So Jamie Joy is going to work on that, and I'll be there with her. So we have about 8 signed up already, but Like the paint party, I think we're getting all last minute. So we'll still be busy, and so we've got lots of goodies, and she ordered some cookies to decorate, and we've got decorations for that, and so it should be fun. Should be really fun. We're looking into possible donation of hot chocolate from either Starbucks, or we'll just buy hot chocolate from Dunkin' Donuts, and we'll have probably some munchkins or donuts or something for treats. It should be really fun. We Care bags. So we did We Care bags the last couple of years. The individual bags were kind of meant to give students an opportunity to get their community service hours that they weren't able to get during COVID. But we've started working with New Reach in New Haven, and come to find out this year, instead of just one homeless shelter, there's actually 3 that they work with. So we've been working with them to get things more for mothers with children in the one homeless shelter. There's 20 families in there. There's another homeless shelter for just women, and then there's a third one now for young adults, 18 through, I believe it's 26. So we have asked for We Care bags, but I am also hearing from residents right now who just want to go out and purchase things, blankets, linens, that kind of thing. So I told them I'll take it, whichever way it comes. It doesn't have to be in a bag. I think that was just more so that we could count them and give community service hours to students. So we'll see what we get. We have a drop off this Wednesday afternoon to be after school hours, like I think it's 2:30 to 4:30, something like that. So we'll see what we get. And I did hear from the middle school. I think they want to go ahead and do something with their kids, which is what we did last year. We worked with their student council, and they collected items, and I think they're going to try to do that again. So there might be another trip in January to the shelter, which is fine with me. I'm happy to help out. Toys for Kids, we have collection boxes, one in the library, one in our building by the gym, and so I'm hoping we get a few more toys. They are planning to pick up probably the end of this week or early next week. And so I'll check that out tomorrow with the library and see what they've got. Shop with a Cop is a program that is really sweet. Normally they have usually 2 locations in the state, and towns can submit applications for kids. So I submitted 3 applications. The police department submitted, I think, at least 4, and they were all approved. So someone from the police department will go to Farmington on Friday to pick up our gift cards. So they're $150 each to Target. So we'll give those to 3 of our families. And then Vinnie Lynch worked with the financial person at Beecher Road School to see what need was over there. Weren't necessarily our clients yet, and some of the police will probably take some of their kids out to dinner and shopping, and may add some additional money as well. So we're blessed this year. I think it's really nice that they do this. I'm hoping next year they do the bigger thing if we get a little further past COVID and all the illnesses, because it's really a nice thing for kids to develop relationships with the police and kind of have a mutual respect. To me, I think it's really special and much needed today. We have given, and Ellen was very helpful with this, just putting together a list for the fire department so Santa can take toys to the children. I believe they're going to most of our people on Monday, the 12th. And community service, we're still moving along with that. We're asking some kids to come, after school to help with the food sorting. We still have more. And there is a group who may try to come over from the high school. I think they have a group of about 5 who want to come help sort food. And also Tech Tuesdays is still going on, and just, we have a great kid who comes and helps the seniors, and I'm always impressed watching him. I have been working with the school district and, just trying to get a couple speakers to do a virtual evening about prevention, vaping prevention. So I'll have someone from Yale speak, and I'm just trying to nail down some dates with them and the school district. We'd like to do it in January if we can, and so we'll have one person, Tricia Dahl, talking about vaping prevention, and then we'll have Lori McFarland from Alliance for Prevention and Wellness, and she will speak about fentanyl and also edibles. I don't know, maybe going forward, we need to speak about psychedelic drugs, because if they're going to be legalized, I think, the idea that, yes, it helps some people, but it really, we don't want that available to everyone, truly not, and especially not our young people. So that might be something that we have to talk about in the future. Juvenile Review Board, we still are waiting, Jeanette. We haven't heard anything from Town Council yet on. So I just got an email from Jen Byers today. She's interested in where we are with that. So I told her maybe we'll call and give a nudge and see where we are with just having approvals for some of the forms that we'll be using for that and the methods that we'll be using. And there is a scheduled training that the Connecticut Youth Service Association is doing about changes in the law for youth offenders. So I'll see if I can sign up for that. And I did attend a collaborative meeting last week also. It's Bethany, Orange, Woodbridge, and Milford Collaborative. They're all combined so that service providers can come together. And we talked a little bit about, changes in law and juvenile review boards. But Erica Bromley, who's our juvenile justice liaison to Connecticut Youth Service Association, she attended that meeting virtually, and she did a slide presentation. So I'm going to get a copy of the slides and distribute that to the other people who are involved in planning JRB. So kind of get the youth service side of it, I think. And that's all I have. Planning, Jamie, Joy, and I are just, we're sitting trying to come up with ideas. So we'd like to do a movie night. We reached out to Bethany, because I know we had a setup before where we could use the Bethany Town Hall gym. That way we could have food in that gym. At least then we could when we did it years ago. But they also had a setup to, show videos. So we're checking in with them. The person who usually makes the decisions and works with the equipment is not there and may not be in for a while. So we might just flip and do another winter scene paint party in January, and then maybe make a movie night happen in February. And we're still thinking about whether we want to do a spring semi-formal. So we're going to probably reach out to the kids, do a survey, and see what their interests are this year. So that's all I have right now. Any questions?
Nancy, you said that you're waiting for the Woodbridge Town Council approval for your forms for
Yes.
JRB? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if there are no other questions, thank you. Thank you for the report. Need a motion to accept it? Pat? Okay. And a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Janet? All right. Are there any dissenting votes to accepting the youth services report? Okay. Fine. Then, no dissenting votes? Okay. Christy, would you please give us the Woodbridge Center report?
Sure. So we had the Mason Jar Ball Luminary Craft on November 10th, provided by Hampton Rehab. It went very well. We had 14 people in attendance this time, and we're still getting new people that join these crafts. On November 17th, we had the Thanksgiving drive-through feast, and Alyssa Ulrich from the Willows came to help distribute the meals. We had 108 participants this year, and the portions were very generous and delicious from Lassie's, as always. This year, there's many people who came through that unfortunately lost their spouses in the last year, and many others who are having significant health problems. And coming through the drive-through, speaking for a few minutes and chatting, and then leaving with a delicious lunch really provides a welcomed bright spot during a difficult holiday season for them. Many people expressed their appreciation for many days afterwards, and I'd like to share an email that I received from a 96-year-old longtime center client who was very active at the senior center before the pandemic. Unfortunately, now after the pandemic, she's primarily homebound, except for going to a couple of medical appointments that we usually provide transportation for. She wrote, "Hi, Christy. I want to thank you and all the others who helped sending me the Thanksgiving dinner. It tasted as though it was arranged with love. It really was delicious, down to the whipped sweet butter, which is only served at the finest restaurants. And the mixture of cranberry and applesauce was also special. The portions of turkey and veggies were super generous, but I ate it all in one sitting, including the pumpkin pie and a box emblazoned with happy birthday. Many thanks. So you can almost feel the appreciation with every bite that she was taking. Also in November, we started the diabetes management class, and there were 11 people that registered for that session. Mary Swansiger is a diabetes nurse specialist and just does a really great job giving these programs, and it's reflected in a very high retention rate for the class. Last Friday, on December 2nd, we had a Fight Back Against Cardiovascular Disease Lunch and Learn with PA cardiologist Beckett Greeton Harrison. Beckett was very personable and gave a very high level presentation that really captured everyone's attention. Everyone really enjoyed it, and was requesting that we have him back to give a presentation on other topics related to cardiovascular disease. On December 8th, Hampton Rehab will be providing another craft workshop, and this one will be a gnome wine topper. And there's already a lot of people that have signed up for this workshop. On December 14th, there will be another lunch and learn on conservatorship, guardianship, and supported decision making, given by Drazen Rubin Law. The presentation will provide information on navigating the complicated world of special needs and planning, including key benefits and available resources, as well as power of attorney, estate planning, financial considerations, and much more. And we currently have 10 people registered for that, which is pretty good considering we haven't offered these type of presentations before for individuals or families with special needs. The holiday drive-through luncheon will be on December 15th this year, and there will be 120 meals that are provided by Lassie's, and they are generously sponsored, once again, by the Rotary Club of Woodbridge. And then Hampton Rehab is also providing a Christmas in London immersive experience on December 16th, which will offer participants the opportunity to experience Christmas in London through an in-person virtual tour with delectable British treats as well. And participants for our 2 Tai Chi Quan programs that are beginning in January continue to submit the required paperwork. We're very grateful to get the funding for this, but since it's through a grant, there is a lot of paperwork that goes along with it. We have to send the forms out electronically for people to complete. Some of them can't complete electronically, so we have to provide hard copies and then scan it to Karen Green at the Connecticut Healthy Living Collective. But we still have new participants that continue to sign up, and we now have 31 that are officially registered and a few more that are very interested. I included in my report the performance indicators that the Senior Center submitted as part of the Human Services operating budget. We usually report on the Senior Center lunch program and transportation. This year we expanded it to include other Senior Center programs. And the indicators just give a little glimpse into how the center is performing. If you look at the numbers, there's a little dip down in the Senior Center lunch program and the transportation. The lunch program right now reflects the drive-through lunches and the frozen meal delivery program. Those we're not really looking to expand. We've kind of reached our limit, and they're providing a great service. If you look forward to the projection for FY24, we expand by about 800, we're projecting, and that'll be because the Senior Center will be renovated. We'll have in-person lunches again, and that'll be when we really try to encourage expanding that count so we can bring people together once again to socialize and have our lunches. Transportation, that dipped down because we didn't have a driver for a while, and our car is not always reliable. Then if you look at the other Senior Center programs, this reflects the amount of times a participant has attended a program. So it's, when you put it together, it's a pretty impressive numbers. And then as far as staffing, I'm very happy to report that for the transportation drivers, Mike Breccia has agreed to be our regular Wednesday, Thursday driver. He's our per diem driver for many years, and he'll also continue to be backups on Mondays and Fridays. Phil Rubin's last day of driving for the center was on November 29th, and he was our regular Tuesday driver. We posted this position pretty quickly, and we were very fortunate to receive a couple of resumes. One stood out, and Jeanette and I were fortunate to be able to have interviewed the candidate on Friday. So we got him in here pretty quickly, and today well, I'm sorry. So just to give you a little background on him, his name is Joe Bonaldo. He's from Orange. He recently retired after working 27 years as a building supervisor for the West Haven School District. He's handled many emergencies during that time, including an electrical fire. He's handled bomb threats. There's a gas leak that he quickly was able to evacuate the kids out of the room from, and many others. He also has driven for a limousine company for many years, and that also included assisting people who had disabilities, and including those that were in wheelchairs. So he has that experience. And when asked how he feels about driving in bad weather, he said he has no issues with it, mentioning that he drove the Zamboni when he worked at the West Haven School District regularly. He had a really good personality, and he has a calm demeanor, and is just looking to fill some time since he retired. So he's willing to work Tuesdays and also be backup driver on the other days as well. He has the required endorsement that we require for the transportation program already, and he's also willing to obtain the A endorsement that's required to transport students if Nancy needs transportation for the youth program in the future. So I'd like to ask for a motion to hire Joe Bonaldo as a part-time driver for the Senior Center Transportation Program, contingent on passing his background check and other paperwork. But first, does anyone have any questions about him?
Impressive.
Yeah, it feels we got really lucky with him.
Sounds like he checks all the boxes. A motion? Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to do so.
Okay, Janet, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Viviana? Fine. Would you like to read the motion for us, or?
Sure. It's to hire Joe Bonaldo as a part-time driver for the Senior Center Transportation Program, contingent on passing his background check and other paperwork.
Viviana, you have the name, right?
Yes, is it Bonaldo?
Einaldo. Joseph, sorry.
Okay.
So we have a motion and we have a second. Are there any dissenting votes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to change that. I apologize, Viviana. It's Bonaldo.
Okay.
Should get that right.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So again, are there any dissenting votes? Okay. Motion carried. Or any abstentions? Okay. Motion carried. Those numbers, it's wonderful seeing numbers. I think numbers are very helpful as we move forward and look for support, more support than we already have with regard to funding, et cetera. So, Jeanette, would you give us the Human Services report, please?
I think we need one more motion to accept Christie's
right,
report.
Right, the Christie's report. Sorry. Yep. Motion. All right, Pat. And a second.
I can second.
Okay, Kathy. Perfect. All right. Are there any dissenting votes to accepting Christie's comprehensive report? Okay. Motion carried. Jeanette?
Thank you, Christy, Nancy. Those are great reports. So we are moving, albeit a little slowly at this time, through the senior center renovation. We'll be meeting Wednesday morning again. Continues that every time there's either a product we've picked or a supply issue, it's either discontinued or the construction company may be offering a different product than the one specified in the plans. In this week and last week, we are dealing with ceiling tiles and flooring tiles. The flooring tile was made by Armstrong. It was a BBT tile, which was both less expensive and better looking. Hard to find that again. They sent back that we would either have to have a VCT tile or an LVT tile, each cheaper looking than the next, and double the price for cost and installation. We found this unacceptable. We looked at the samples. They did not advance making the senior center look better. So we turned them down and asked them to go back and find more. And on Wednesday, we'll be getting more samples of a product that is just around the cost of the BBT tile and should be better looking than what we've seen. If you look in the corridors of Yale New Haven Hospital, you'll see the LVT tile, which it looks like grandma's linoleum. It's not taking the senior center. This is the last renovation we'll have probably in 25 or 50 years. So we want to bring it forward with a modern look and something we can clean. Mark is excellent at his stripping and waxing, and we want to make sure that we stay doing that because it'll keep looking like new for 15 more years anyway. So we were a little bit tough to deal with, and I told the designer that I have broad shoulders. You can blame me. And so it's a process. The ceiling tiles, the contractor has offered a replacement. The quality of these were not what the designer would accept. She said right off the acoustic, there's a number associated with tiles, and she had asked for something in the 9.9 region. They offered something in the 3.5 region. She's found another product that's in the 7.7 region, and they're working out the details. It looks like we'll be able to move ahead with that. You'll remember that we had a problem with the placement of the ERV venting units for the ceiling, and they had suggested lowering the ceiling by 13 inches, which we also did not accept. And luckily, through walking around and a lot of teamwork with our team and theirs, we have sited those in an excellent location within the courtyard, but out of the way from the child care center's area. And so it's closer, it's readily available for maintenance, and will either be a wash with the cost that was originally in or very close to it because of the proximity to the center. So in all that, we are moving along. Wednesday we'll get hopefully the answers to a few more questions, and we'll move on for a couple more weeks, and we'll see how we go getting ourselves to January and the project moving ahead. Once the mechanicals are all ordered, the project should move ahead rather quickly. So the mechanicals with the ERV units and the venting and the condensers were really holding everything up. Now it's a matter of we've agreed on citing them and the products, and they all should be ordered probably by the Wednesday meeting. I'm hopeful. The center building renovation. Oh, are there any questions on that? Okay. We are at once, I hope this is clear, we are at once being prudent with the money in the renovation project and looking out for what will look best, and not accepting anything that, as Susan always says, what would I do if it was my house? We're trying very hard to make sure that the seniors don't say, you were closed for that long and we get this. We want it to be an improvement. With the center building renovation committee, the committee has chosen a A&E firm, and we'll be meeting this Wednesday also or tomorrow actually, I think, to affirm the choice and send a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. We have agreed to separate out of the whole project the center gymnasium, which got a $500,000 steep grant. But as we all know from experience with the senior center, $500,000 for HVAC does not go very far. I've written a memo to Tony and Beth asking if we can, it's a memo to ask if we can ask for funding from the ARPA dollars to assist with the HVAC of the gym so that the steep grant can go farther with flooring and wall padding and the bathrooms and the entranceway. It seems ridiculous to start this project for HVAC and only to find out we don't have enough money. And the town does have the ARPA funds, which, in its directions can be used for HVAC improvements and ADA compliance, which the door renovation would provide. So that's been done. We will let you know next month what we learn. On the budget update, the capital budget was submitted with your approval, and this Thursday we'll be going to present. We are hopeful, always. That said, the car is really one of our primary focuses, and the police have agreed to give us a car again. They're decommissioning another vehicle, and it's a 2008 Crown Victoria with 180,000 miles on it again. We have a 2008 with 180,000 miles already, and it is, unreliable. Sending our seniors out in an unreliable vehicle is not our intention. It's not the direction of the program. We ask only to have the tools provided to us to get our jobs done. That's all we're asking for. So we'll go in again. Susan's coming with, and hopefully anyone else who feels like coming. It's in person at Town Hall. Our time frame is 6 p.m. And we'll go and we'll ask for the vehicle. We're going to ask for a couple of things that are no longer within the realm of the senior center project that we hope they'll grant. It's a tough year again. Do I sound like a broken record? I don't know that we'll get what we asked for, but we can ask, and that's our jobs, and hope for the best. And so that's this Thursday. I'm sorry?
It's Tuesday night.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Darn, I was hoping I had till Thursday to write my remarks, but you're right. It's tomorrow. There it is. Okay. And, okay. Thank you for that correction. Tomorrow night, the 6th. The operating budget, the subcommittee of Pat and Susan have agreed to meet with me the first week in January. We've set a time and date. For the most part, the staff has gotten me everything. And now it's about tweaking things and writing them up. The letter of transmittal and the narratives on this new formatted budget form that we have. It's an online version of the budget. I'll hope to be able to send all of that to you as soon as the subcommittee meets and gives me their feedback, because they always have excellent edits. I hope to have it to you by Friday the 6th of January, which is actually its due date, and we'll approve it on the 9th at our meeting. So you'll have it at least for the weekend, and Pat and Susan will have it before that to make their edits. Really, we're not asking for anything in it much. Things are really staying the same. The outside agencies have, you guessed it, QVHD did raise their per person fees again by 25 cents per capita, I guess. And, you know, it's a one-way trip with them. It's just going to keep down this path. And I don't think we have anything to say about it unless, you know, we look elsewhere for those services. So I think Women and Family Center also went up by like $50, and they do excellent work. Kathy, were you raising a hand? Or?
No.
Nope. Okay.
Nope,
So
no.
there's just limited amounts to what we'll be adding. We're going to try and do the same next year as we did this year, and keep everything the same. We're not getting a raise for the employees by and large, so it's pretty straightforward. The Holiday Basket Program. I should just ask Kathy to talk about this. She was with us Thursday and Friday. She gave us pretty much all day as our generous donors brought in basket after basket for our clients, and full of donations, really incredible stuff. I saw several of you. And then she was with us all day today, and her husband, Tim. I thank those of you on the commission who have donated and sponsored families. That's really incredible. And I think a lot of clients today were really touched. I know I was touched on Thursday and Friday and Monday morning, because Susan dropped off this morning. I was touched by the generosity, but then to see the clients' response and how this really affects them, it was really heartwarming. And it was a pretty great day, even though it was exhausting, right, Kathy?
Yes, it was,
Exhausting.
but it was fun to see the donors come in excited with all of, you know, their gift cards and beautiful baskets, and so excited to continue to help our community. And then today there were a couple of recipients that were so overwhelmed they almost had to sit down, because they just couldn't believe how much they were being given.
You know, and I wore my mask all day today, and a couple of the clients wore masks, but pretty sure that tears, when a client cries on you, probably are contagious if somebody was sick. And I had a couple of times with real tears from clients of gratitude. So good day, good work. You know, Ellen, I can't get through this without saying the remarkable job that Ellen does, and the whole staff, you know, Nancy, Christy, Jess, Jamie Joy, Judy, incredible. The work that they do relating to these clients, to get these clients to know that they are eligible, that they are welcome to this support, that they can come and lean on us and these donors. this is a team-wide job, and what an amazing job the whole staff. I'm looking at Nancy. She looks like she's going to tear up too, because it really, it's why we're here. It's to help these people, and we don't see them all the time like we saw them today. All right, a lot out of me. I'm sorry, but
I just want to echo Ellen and Jeanette just do a really amazing job with it. I mean, that's who primarily does it. And it just really is incredible to see it all come together and everything that's orchestrated to do it. It's just really, it's just mind boggling. So good job.
And I just want to repeat something that I think we heard before, that we had family who was in need in years past, who was now able to give to another recipient. Their circumstances improved, and they were responding in kind. So doesn't get better than that.
Doesn't it? No, it's terrific. And I want to echo what Christy said, but I want to take myself out of it. I support the efforts of Ellen and Judy, but they do the lion's share, and Ellen takes it all on. And she doesn't get flapped about it. She's got juggling clients, juggling donors, juggling extra donors who just want to give gift cards, and she puts it all together, and we really appreciate her. So I do have one action item that I saved for last, and then we'll sort of wrap up. I should start at the beginning. One of our drivers asked if there was any chance to get a small bump in salary. And he's been with us for a while, and I did a query to some other towns and realized we are really quite low. We were paying $17.45 an hour. It's a big responsibility to drive seniors and make sure that the vehicle is inspected and operating correctly and cleaned, and making sure these people, get where they need to go and get picked up. And then the extra that they give is just so much. So I went and I talked to Tony Genovese because, first of all, we're in the middle of a cycle. So nothing would happen until next year, July 1st. And there are no raises down the pike this coming for us. So I looked within the budget, and this is not extra money. We're not asking for any extra money. But I was able to reconfigure with the allotted money for that line item, and it's line item 50350. And it also includes the senior center, the senior social worker, and the kitchen staff when we get our kitchen back. And 3 drivers are all within the same line item. Working within that, I was able to slightly adjust the amount of hours. We don't technically get up to more than a set amount of hours for these drivers. So we had a lot of hours in the budget, and we had this $17.45 with the hours we need at 15 hours per week per driver. And they really just don't quite come to that unless we really get busier. We're able, within the line item, to give them each, 2 of the drivers who have been here a long time, $18 an hour. So to bump them from $17.45 to $18 per hour in January. Get this approved by you guys. It only has to go to Tony. I'll do a personnel action form for the 2 drivers, and Beth would approve it. It does not go to the Board of Selectmen. But I feel strongly about retaining the drivers we have now. This process of reading resumes, making calls to to applicants, asking them to come in for interviews, having them not show up for interviews, showing up for interviews but not wanting the job. It is a huge drain on the hours we have to do our jobs. So if we can retain the couple that we have and, eventually give the new driver up to that fee, I think we'll do better at maintaining these drivers and not lose them. I mean, Seymour's paying $20 an hour. It's hard to compete. We're only offering, this Tuesday driver is getting, 4 to 8 hours a week, max. Viviana, you have your hand up.
Yes. When will the new drivers be eligible for the higher rate? After how long on the job?
We hadn't determined that, and I thought about that. I'm pretty sure that we'd want at least a year out of someone to have a commitment, and at that point, I'd have to finagle a little more. I assume that we'll get a raise in the next year and a half. I guess that they're looking into a contract with the union, and then that contract will probably have a percentage raise, and it may be retroactive. We don't know. But that's how it's worked in the past. But even that, he would get a raise on $17.45, not on $18. And eventually, I think Christy and I both agree that we'd want to get all 3 drivers at the same fee. But I would want at least a year commitment from someone to know that they are going to stay, and then we'll try and finagle a little more money out of that line item, because we're not asking for any more money. That's my hope. But if you do the math on 15 hours a week for 50 weeks a year, between $17.45 and $18, not adding a lot. But, this is a few $100s.
We need to be competitive with area towns too. We really do, as much as possible.
So in that, if there aren't any other questions, and there might be, I would just like a motion to approve a rate high, a raise in hourly wage for driver 1, driver 2 in the budget from $17.45 to $18 per hour to begin January 3rd.
Does anyone want to make that motion?
I could make that motion to
Kathy?
put that forward. Yep.
Okay, and a second? Pat? Okay. We've just heard the motion, very clearly spoken by Jeanette. Does anybody not approve of that? Anybody abstaining? Okay, there's no dissenting votes and no one is abstaining, so it is carried unanimously. Okay, all right. And that is the end of your report. So we also, is that correct, Jeanette? Are there any questions? If not, I also need a motion to accept Jeanette's very comprehensive and exciting. It's nice to create good things like the baskets and the renovation. Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
Okay. Viviana, and a second?
I can second.
Lauren, thank you. Good. Wonderful. Okay. Are there any dissenting votes to accepting Jeanette's Human Services report? Okay. No one's abstaining? Okay. Unanimous again. Under all business, new business, we have our next meeting is January 9th, 2023. Anything else that needs to be come before us this evening? Okay. Then I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, Pat. Wonderful. And
I'll
a second. Second.
I'll second.
Okay, Viviana. And I am sure there are no dissenting votes to adjourn. And may I wish you all a happy holiday, really. And how proud we can be of the work of our incredible staff. And I know that they've worked hard to make these holidays very special for Woodbridge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
And thank you to the staff and to all of you who take time out of your busy schedules to be here once a month with us at these meetings. It's really exceptional to have such a great commission and all of you participating. So thank you. And we'll see you after the holidays. And I hope they're all wonderful for all of you with family and good things, all good things. Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I don't know if anyone celebrates Kwanzaa. Happy all of it. And happy for Christy, who gets to spend time with her kids.
Oh, great. And thanks to Viviana for, again, we have such amazing notes. It's minutes. It's really, really wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Stay safe.